Sack him. Sack him now, today. Listen. Hear me out, man. Hear me out on this one. I'm going to ask you a question. Should England sack Gareth Southgate just before the Euros? Think about it. You might be able to bring someone else in, maybe a Jose Mourinho. You know what I mean? Galvanize these players. There's a lot of talented players in this team. You might be able to get a tune out of them. Don't let this opportunity go to waste, man. It might work. Go think outside the box. Hi there, guys, and welcome back to A Dash of Sports. I'll be your host and presenter, Dashiki Dash, and this is where I talk about all things sports related, hot topics, and trending stories. Before I jump into all of this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button, comment, and share. And also, don't forget to press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. I've been asking this question: should England consider, or not even just consider, should England sack Gareth Southgate just before these Euros? Now, hear me out. Hear me out. I know most people are going to be like, oh, but Dash, man, you're not even English, man. You know what I mean? You ain't got a word to say in this. You can't talk about this. Listen, I'm just giving you my opinion. Hear me out. From the outside perspective, I might be onto something. I might be onto something here. If you sack Gareth Southgate now, bringing someone in. I've been screaming at Jose Mourinho. You know, you might bring in someone like that. You might be able to galvanize these players, the Jude Bellinghams, the Fodens, the Kanes. You know what I mean? All of these, the Declan Rice, Carl Walkers, all of these players. Yeah, if you give it to Mourinho, you might be able to create some magic. International football doesn't really take a lot. It's not like club football, innit? So you got to go to these tournaments with a good vibe. Everybody fit. You know what I mean? Jose Mourinho is tactically, astute. He knows what he's doing. A lot of people will be like, oh, but he likes to park the bus and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Listen, I hear all of that. But when he was with Real Madrid, he weren't parking the bus there, was he? But he finds a way to win. At the end of the day, you get into semi-finals, you get into finals, and you're not crossing the line. And that's what Southgate ain't doing. He ain't crossing the line. And I don't think he's going to be able to cross the line with these crop of players. Now, look, this was a major talking point on Everything Goes. Go and check that out, by the way. Akin Fenwa. That's the podcast that I'm on also. Everything Goes. And the question was laid out: should England consider, sacking Gareth Southgate before the tournament? And I was like, yeah, man, why not? Give it a go. Maybe think outside of the box. Try something. Now, I'm not the only one that thinks like this, There's many people that are thinking like me as well, that are saying, yo, Gareth Southgate should be sacked. Now, it's a bit crazy to think that to sack him just before the tournament. But like I said, give it a go. Try something new. You've got a brilliant crop of players, and it just seems like Southgate doesn't know how to use them. Like, he's playing boring football. Nobody's going to be surprised to what the outcome is going to be. Yeah. I'm not really giving England that much hope within these Euros. Like, I don't even think they're going to make it to the quarterfinals. Personally, that's what I think. I think, like, the other tournaments, luck has been on their side. In somewhat way, but even with that luck, he's not been able to capitalize on it. Now, look, a lot of people will say, look, it wasn't Southgate's fault that Harry Kane missed a penalty against France. It wasn't Southgate's fault that Harry Kane once again didn't square it to Sterling, and Sterling could have just tapped it in, so forth and so forth. It's not Southgate's fault that, you're drawn up against one of the best teams and one of the best players in the world in Kylian Mbappe. But you've got to navigate through these things. I believe other top managers, if they had this team, they get into the final. They're getting past that semi-final that England lost in. Once they get to the final against Italy at home, at Wembley, and you wasn't able to beat Italy, quite aged side as well. You know what I mean? And they weren't able to cross the line with that. And like some of the mistakes that he made tactically, bringing on the Sanchos and the Rashfords late on to just take penalties. You could have brought them on with like 20 minutes to go, let them cook up a little bit, warm up. He put those players in that pressure cooker. So then when it came to taking penalties, they weren't really ready for it. So there's a lot of mistakes that he's made. And I just think it's going to be, it's going to be a big travesty that if, Southgate goes into this tournament and doesn't produce the goods. I know there's no divine right for England to win anything. But look, man, the players that you got, you should be getting to a final. I think if he doesn't get to a final, at the very least, it's a failure, man. If he doesn't win, then yeah, that's another failure. And normally at this point where he's getting down to the last moments of his contract, England are very quick, very, very quick to give him a new contract. And then he signs it, and then it's another tournament. Well, yeah, one more tournament. But ultimately, I think this is going to be his last one. So, a load of people will be like, oh, why would you sack him now, though? He's got one more tournament to go. Let him do what he's doing. I hear all of that. But try something new, man. Just try it. It might be a bit far-fetched. I know. It sounds a bit crazy. But listen, man, you gotta be brazen. You gotta be willing to risk it all, man. Try something new. Now I'm gonna give you some stats, because usually that's what people live by, and it's stats, all of this kind of stats. So I'll give you some stats. So in the last 23 games against countries that are ranked in the top 10 in the FIFA rankings, so Gareth Southgate, England manager, has won 7 of them, drawing 6 and losing 10. So ultimately, when it comes to him facing the top teams, and this is going to be the latter stages, isn't it? We know that they can beat the Panamas and I don't know, man, the Lithuanians, the Macedonians, and all them kind of teams there, yeah? Them low-ranked teams. But when they get to like the last 16, which they should get past, right? And I said, I don't think they're going to make it past the quarterfinals. So imagine they get past the round of 16, they get to the quarterfinal, and then they start meeting. They could end up meeting France straight away, or your Germanys, or your Hollands, or your Croatias. These teams here, once they start getting to these teams, this is where they struggle. And why not? Like I said, give it to a manager that tactically he's gonna get it right when it's needed. When if England gets to the semi-final, and to yourself, you need a tactician, you need someone that's gonna be also brave. You need a manager to be brave. Like in tournaments, you gotta be brave as well. Have you got that about you? And everybody knows that Southgate doesn't. He doesn't have that about him. Loyalty to players as well. Let me speak on that. Too loyal with certain players. He's definitely living and dying by his decisions of keeping Maguire and stuff like that, which, in his defense, it pays off somehow. Somehow it's working. You're picking a player that doesn't play for his club on a weekly basis, but when you pick him from England, it works out somehow. But there's been players out there that have not been playing to the best ability, not been informed, but you continue picking them. Does he pick the right team? We don't know. All of these things is up in the air. And no one for certain can really believe. Who really believes in Gareth Southgate right now? The players are the players, innit? The players are out there. He's got an immense plethora of brilliant, talented players. These players are being compared to the golden era as well. You know, your Rios, your Rooneys, your Lampards, your Gerrards, Scholes, you know what I mean? John Terry's and yeah, all of that. You know what I mean? So you've got these crop of players and you're struggling with them. Yeah, man. Like I said, make the change, man. Make the change right now. Do it. Do it now. Now, for those that be turned, you know, that will turn around and be like, "Oh, who would sack their manager just before a tournament? Like, why would you do that? It's happened before. Let me just pull it out there. There's other nations out there that have made that decision and been like, we're not really feeling the way we're entering this tournament. We might need to bring in someone. So I'm going to give you some case examples. All right. So we've got Julian Lopetegui for Spain. This was in 2018 FIFA World Cup. The Spain FA sacked him 2 days before the start of the World Cup. So that was the 2018 World Cup. They sacked him 2 days beforehand. Lopetegui was actually agreeing a deal with Real Madrid, so he bounced. Now, this may seem like I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but I'm just trying to give you examples of the fact that there's countries that do it. There's countries that take risks. You know what I mean? They're taking their risks. Well, how did that fare for Spain? So during that World Cup, 2018 World Cup that was played out in Russia, Spain didn't get out of the round of 16. It didn't quite work out for them. So it was a 1-1 draw in the round of 16, and they got knocked out in a penalty shootout. Okay, if you thought that was that was just one. That's one example. I'll give you another example. Another top nation, Croatia. Igor Stimac. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. Croatia manager. So this was the 2014 FIFA World Cup. So the Croatia FA sacked him months just before the World Cup, the 2014 World Cup, due to, you know, a bit of an indifferent qualification. They qualified, but they weren't all the way happy with the way they were going into the tournament. So a couple of months just before the World Cup, they sacked the manager. So with that decision made, you know, they went for it and they ended up finishing third place in Group A in that World Cup. So they won one match, they drew one, and they lost one game, earning them 3 points in that tournament. And they didn't advance to the next stage of that tournament. I think actually Brazil and Mexico ended up going through in their group. All right. Hold on a second. I'm going to give you one more example. Argentina also were feeling a bit brave. They thought to themselves like, man, we're not feeling the way we're going into this World Cup tournament. We got to sack our manager as well. So Argentina ended up sacking Edgardo Bauza. I think I pronounced his name right. Sorry if I butchered it. And this was Argentina going into the 2018 World Cup. And they decided to sack the coach months, just, you know, a couple months before the World Cup. They qualified, but once again, they wasn't feeling the way they were qualifying and going into the World Cup. So they just sacked him just a couple months beforehand. And if I just check it out here, Argentina reached the round of 16 in the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. They were eliminated. They were eliminated from the tournament after losing to France in a thrilling match that ended 4-3 in favor of France. So Argentina didn't make it out of the round of 16, and that was due to the fact that they made a decision to sack the coach before the World Cup. Yeah, this seems like a reoccurring theme here. Okay. Those are probably not the best examples. Those 3 examples are probably not the best examples. They don't read well. But hey, man, England, you might be able to do it. You know what I mean? It might be a fortunate situation for England. Maybe try it. You know, be brave. Sack Southgate. See how it goes for you. You know what I mean? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say. But yeah, probably not the best examples, but it has been done before. let's just put it out there. At least you've seen teams they've tried, but it's not worked out. But let me know what you think, though, man. Like I said, maybe people will be looking at me and be like, Dash, what are you talking about? You're not even English. You just want England to lose. Listen, if England were to win, like I was down Shoreditch when England were playing, I wanted England to win because it would have been party time. I'm there for that. You know what I'm saying? But boy, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't see England getting past the quarterfinals. So with Gareth Southgate, so we just gotta wait and see how it works out. But let me know what you think, though, man. Am I right in saying that maybe it should be something that England should consider sacking Southgate? How do you reckon it will work out for England? Would it benefit England? Or do you just think I'm off my rockers and I'm just chatting doo-doo? And no way should England sack Gareth Southgate at this stage of the year with a couple of months to go to the Euros. But let me know, man. Put your comments down below and let me know.